5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Coming up next on the Jeff Crilley Show, we'll be talking to the folks behind Legacy Counseling Center and all the wonderful work they're doing in our community. That's just ahead.
Which is unfortunate, said one person here. Until now, they've enjoyed the reputation of being the nation's icebox.
Watched a burglar in his home this morning by webcam.
As a journalist of over 25 years, stories are what make my world turn.
Reporting live from the Dallas newsroom tonight, Jeff Crilley, Fox 4 News.
But in 2008, I took the jump from my familiar life and started a PR firm from my home.
We're talking about anyone with a camcorder like the one I'm using becomes a television network.
We started slowly growing the company, and we now have over 100 clients, and we've branched into the world of live digital broadcasting. I now own 8 different TV studios and have a huge team, and the stories that I now get to share are sometimes the most important of my life. Life has a funny way of coming around full circle. This is the Jeff Crilley Show.
Well, if you've watched my show before, you know I love to put a spotlight on people doing good in our backyard, and I can't think of a better group of people to bring into the studio today than the folks behind Legacy Counseling Center. You guys have been around for 30 years, is that right?
That's right, 30 years.
30 years.
Hard to believe.
On my far right, Melissa Grove, she's the executive director, and David Andrews, you're the past chairman of the board.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
So why don't we start with you, Melissa? I think everybody's heard of Legacy Counseling Center, but many people still don't know what you guys do.
Well, we are the largest provider of mental health counseling and substance abuse treatment for people living with HIV and AIDS in the South. We started off very grassroots, serving like 20 clients a year, and now we serve over 1,200 clients a year.
Huge.
And as time has rolled on, we've recognized there was a need for people who were critically ill and terminally ill to find a place to die with dignity or to be cared for in critical moments. So we opened Legacy Founders Cottage. And then we realized, well, when we get them better, where do they go? And so we opened our master leasing program. This is a program we take people from the homeless shelters with HIV and get them in their own apartments, nurse them back to health, encourage them to get jobs, help them and get independent. And then out of that, we've also done educational programs, many other things, and of course our Grace Project.
Yes, and if I remember right, David, in '89, it was a much different time. There was not a lot that we knew about the disease.
And that's when Legacy was founded, was in '89, and people were dying. They're living with HIV thanks to the medications and things now. But at that time, and that's kind of when I was coming out of high school in the late '80s and saw a lot of that and was involved in the community and kind of wanted to get involved in some of the aid services organizations.
And you were telling me before the show that one of the reasons why you really spend time here is because so much of the money goes straight to the people who need it.
Yes, it's very true. I think 89 cents of every dollar, only 11 cents. If you donate $1, 89 cents go to the programs of Legacy. I was involved in many ASOs from DIFA and Black Tie Dinner, AIN, and Legacy, and I really didn't see anyone make the money go further than Legacy, and that's much thanks to this lady, Melissa, so I got very involved with Legacy.
We have a very dedicated staff, and we have wonderful volunteers like David. David really helps us, achieve our goals, and so many supporters in the community come through for us, and that does make it possible for us to stretch the money. So many wonderful volunteers putting in a lot of time and energy, and an amazing staff that really goes above and beyond, for sure.
Well, you have a big event coming up, but before we talk about that, I want to roll this video.
I am red.
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 I am red. I am red. I am a woman living with HIV.
And I really don't care.
Who knows my status?
HIV is a medical diagnosis.
Not a judgment on my character or morality.
First, love yourself. AIDS does not define me. This is not a death sentence.
To live a long, healthy life.
I have ups and I have downs. I have times where I will cry it out.
Learning how to advocate.
We have to support each other
We have to love on one another.
Responsibility means accountability. I am living my truth.
You're not alone.
I believe being open about my status.
I will encourage others
To be open about theirs. If you are a woman living with HIV,
And are open about your status. Join us.
please join your local World
AIDS Day event
on December 1st
to show that
that you are red.
you are real.
You are red.
You are red.
You are real.
Very nice. And Melissa, you wrote that.
Yes, you know, we were having so many women call us for counseling, and they were really distressed. They felt like they were the only woman living with HIV, and now 1 in every 4 new diagnoses are women. And so women were very isolated. So we developed #IamRed for women who are open about their status, and that's not an easy thing to do. But for women who are open, to be open about it, encourage other positive women to know they're not alone in all of this, because it is very scary and it's a very stigmatized disease. So this is a really wonderful way. So we encourage women to post videos, #IamRed, on Facebook, on YouTube, on TikTok, and we also encourage them to wear red scarves on the local World AIDS Day event. So people will know that they are positive and they are okay.
Okay, we've got an event coming up. When is it?
This weekend.
First time virtual.
Tell me about the event.
Yes, well, every year for 21 years, we've done a 3-day conference for women in person here in Dallas, Texas. This little side project is now like this huge thing. It's the largest conference in the world for women living with HIV. And we do it right around the corner at the Weston Park Central. We were all set to do it in March, and guess what happened? We had to cancel it. So what we did instead is we decided to make lemonades out of lemons, and we are doing it virtually. Terrifying, but we're doing it virtually, and it's Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and this year, because it's virtual, we're opening it up to any human who is interested.
Cool.
If they go to legacygraceproject.org, you can register for the conference and watch all the programming and jump in and out for whatever looks interesting.
David, did you guys have to change any of your protocols at all when COVID-19 hit?
Well, lots of protocols changed as far as, especially the counseling that we do on site on McKinney Avenue. You could probably talk about that a little bit better.
Yes,
what changed with COVID?
Within a week, we converted the entire agency to telehealth. It's something I've always been wanting to do, but nothing like necessity to get you cracking. So we converted to telehealth, and again, we are looking at the positive side of things. This is opening up counseling to so many people who maybe were scared to go seek it out before.
Yes.
So, and obviously with our homeless housing program, we have been focusing on bringing in food and medicines, making sure they have what they need to limit their exposure out in the world. And all of our programs, obviously, it's been tough on our clients and staff at Legacy Founders Cottage because they are locked down just like a nursing home is. So it's been very, very challenging, and boy, I really appreciate and respect our staff because they are going through the same stress you and I are going through, and they're caring for patients and not missing a beat. I mean, we really have to hand it to the frontline workers, and that's what we have at Legacy.
Absolutely, we're true heroes. We also have some pictures that we want to share, and I'll have Melissa describe what we're looking at.
This is one of the many community fundraisers for Legacy and other organizations. We really depend on other people because we don't want to spend our money raising money. Other groups raise money and donate it to us. And that's been challenging this year because people can't do events. So we are having a very challenging fundraising year. We've lost $250,000 in fundraising.
Wow.
And that's events that we can't do, and events others like this can't do for us.
David, talk about some of the special women that you meet. I mean, I love the word positive because that really describes the emotions of the women that come your way.
Well, in Positivity and the Grace Project, so Positivity is a brunch that raises money specifically for the Grace Project for HIV positive women. I think you've attended that.
Yes, I sure
We had
have.
Leanne
Yeah.
Locken,
That's right.
who's donated a lot of her time and actually had it on the Real Housewives of Dallas
I remember. That was
for
a
the
great
time
episode.
that you went. But, and that got us a lot of attention. But it's an amazing program, really, because, I mean, there's a million programs for HIV-positive men, but almost nothing for women. You know, and they don't feel comfortable going to those same programs and the same conferences and things like that with men. So it grew out of kind of a need and has become the largest conference in the world.
Do you find, Melissa, that there's still kind of a misconception when you tell people that you're helping women with AIDS, that people say women get AIDS?
First of all, a lot of people are surprised that women can get HIV, which always shocks me. I mean, HIV is the only disease where some people think it's cured and some people think you die instantly. And everything in between, there's so many misconceptions. Most of the women in our program are infected through romantic partners, through their husbands or boyfriends. And so people think, oh, it's all drug users or sex workers. No, it's just women. One of the ladies put it beautifully. She said, the only thing I'm guilty of is loving someone. And I thought that was really powerful, because we all have a desire to be connected and love someone. And what do you do when that person infects you and you become HIV positive? It's very challenging, you know. And then there's so much societal stigma about HIV. When people say, oh, well, I don't need to be tested for HIV, I know I'm not positive. I'll say, oh, you're a virgin. They'll say, well, no, I'm not a virgin. I said, well, then you don't really know.
Right.
You know, I have women who are married to their high school sweethearts who became infected. You know, so it's really about loving and connecting people and making sure everybody is valued.
And I know, David, when we were looking at the website earlier, you said there's kind of 3 programs. Will you describe them?
Well, there's the cottage, which started actually, it's in Oak Cliff, and it actually started as more of a hospice when people were dying. It was a place where they could go to die, and you know, thankfully through medicine and people are living now with HIV. As Melissa, I think, said, we developed the program for housing, for apartments for homeless people, and that part of that was we were healing people at the cottage, and we needed someplace for them to go. So we have, there are also HIV positive individuals that are in the apartments and the housing program. Many with families. I don't know how many children are there in the program currently?
About 32 children under 18.
Okay.
And the number of apartments currently?
We have 32 apartments.
32 apartments. So we have the cottage, that program, and then the HIV positive women's conference, the Grace Project as well.
We also have a housing information center called Home Base for Housing. And if you go to homebaseforhousing.org, we realized there was really just a lack of one place in Dallas for every housing program. So this is not HIV specific. We were like, if we're going to go to all this trouble, let's make it for everybody. So I encourage everyone who has any housing issue, utility assistance or whatever you might need help with, apartments under $700. That's challenging to find in this environment. Anyone can go to homebaseforhousing.org and look at every program under the sun in North Texas.
Outstanding.
It's a real resource.
We're almost out of time, so David, I'll give you the final word. What do you want people to know? I mean, obviously, if giving is down, you need donations.
Well, you know, the events, we can't do the events where we've raised a lot of money. You know, we've had Leslie Jordan perform for 11 years now. I think that was started by Joe Pichetti, who's a huge, I think he's going to be on your show in a few weeks,
right.
But he's a huge supporter of Legacy. And one year we raised $90,000 out of that, but it's going on for 11 years. But we've had a lot of different events, and people want to give money and attend events and have fun, you know, in addition to, you know, silent auctions and whatnot. But I think we've had to step up grants, but luckily grants have kind of taken a place of some of that event money that wasn't coming in. But we can always use more, but there's so many opportunities to volunteer. We have a program where you can bring meals for the cottage. You can donate your time, volunteer. We're a beneficiary of other organizations like Black Tie Dinner and DIFA, where people can volunteer their time there. Just a lot of opportunities. It doesn't have to be about writing a check.
Outstanding. We're going to go ahead and put up the website so everybody can get in touch. It's legacycares.org, and through that you can navigate to the different websites and make sure and give generously this weekend.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you both.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you, Jeff.
You bet. And that's it for now. We'll see you next time.